Hello, beautiful people. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. It's Winnie here again in another video. And today's tutorial, we are going to be learning how to make this rose sleeve that Ricky James had on for our traditional photo shoot. So, without too much talking, let's get to the honey of this video. Papa. For this project, you need your sleeve patterns, your short and long sleeve, your pattern paper, your masking tape, your scissors, your marker, and your tape rule. So I have a separate tutorial on how to draft a sleeve pattern. I'm going to drop that in the description box below. So now the first thing you're going to do is to take your pattern paper and fold it like a triangle. As you can see me do, you really need to pay attention to what I'm doing in order to understand this sleeve. It's a very technical sleeve and it's for people that are already sewing. It's not for beginners, but a beginner can also get it if you pay close attention. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, kindly click the subscribe button and come on, join the family of this fashionable, beautiful people. Click the like button if you like this video, share with your family and friends, and do well to drop your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. I'll be very glad to answer your questions also. So the next thing, after folding your fabric in like a triangle, you need to place your sleeve on it. And before placing your sleeve on it, you need to align the sleeve properly. It has to be very straight. And what I'm doing right now is I'm measuring out where the sleeve is going to stand, where I think it's going to stand, and then I'm going to mark a straight line across the sleeve on that part, just to make sure that the sleeve and the other side of the triangle is perpendicular to each other and it's aligning properly. And that is what you see me do right here. So I've just drawn the straight line and I'm trying to align it. See, make sure the straight line is as straight as the other edge of the triangle, as you can see me do. Watch what I'm doing closely and you'll definitely get it. So I'm trying to align the sleeve properly. That is what I'm doing right now. After aligning the sleeve properly, you need to hold it down with your tape, and that is where the masking tape comes in. So you hold the sleeve down in place because we're going to be needing both the sleeve pattern and the triangle pattern together in one piece. So you are going to hold it down like you are seeing me do before cutting it out. What I'm doing here is just that I'm trying to draw the straight line so you can see that it is actually perpendicular to the triangle and it is straight and well aligned. So now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm just trying to take the measurement, but you don't need to be bothered. The folded edge is always longer than the open edge. The first place I measured is the folded end and this is the open end, and it is not always the same length. So if yours is like that, you don't have to be bothered. That is how it is meant to be. So now the next thing that I'm going to do is to trace out my sleeve using my marker pen. I'm just confirming if the allowances are added already, but the allowances are added already because I used a pre-cut pattern. Is a pre-cut sleeve pattern. So now I'm cutting it out, and that's it. We have our sleeve with our triangle in one beautiful piece. And I cut out a short sleeve earlier. The length is about 9 inches, and we're also going to be using that separately. Now for the fabric, you need a very thick fabric for this project because you need something that will hold your rose in place. If you are using a light fabric, it won't really work. You need a thick fabric. Any kind of fabric that is thick will work for you. Now the next thing I'm doing is that I'm folding my I first folded my fabric into two triangle, but it wasn't enough, so I'll have to join to it. So now I'm cutting out the short sleeve with my lining, but I would advise, if your fabric is enough, use the same fabric to cut that piece. So now I've joined my fabric and it's now enough, so I'm cutting it out. I'm cutting out the excesses, and then at the open edge, as you can see, I left a few inches, about half inch, for the seam allowance at the down part of the sleeve. Don't forget to notch the center point of your sleeve before taking your pattern off, and then after that you take off your sleeve pattern, open it up and trim off your front armhole. If you've watched my tutorial on making a sleeve, you will understand what I'm doing here. So now the next thing is to align it properly. Align your sleeve properly and sew. Make sure it's properly aligned before joining. After aligning it properly, you're going to sew it from that point up to that point. As you can see, my hand move. Now the next thing I want to do is to determine the center of this short sleeve. I've folded my sleeve into two, and then I'm going to fold it again so that the midpoint can show. So now that we've gotten the midpoint, I'm going to align the center with the notch point. I'm trying to align it properly so that it doesn't shift and it is at the right place. So now I'm just going to use my marker to mark the center, and I used my hand. You can also use a pin to create a hole. Use my hand to mark out the middle point, and I'm using my marker to create that dot to form the midpoint of the sleeve. And it showed on the other side because it's a lining, and it will definitely show. So I've gone ahead to stitch my sleeve, and I'm placing a notch on the parts that I stitched, and I'm cutting off the excess because I don't want that place to be too bulky. I want it to have a very, very flat finish by the time I turn it to the right side. And now I'm turning it to the right side, and honestly it was looking already neat and clean. So after turning it, I just use my pin to turn it properly so that everything can come out. And then at this point, make sure you give it a very good press. Alright, iron it properly so that everything can align well and it doesn't give you problem when you are sewing. Now the next thing is to place the small sleeve and place the bigger sleeve on it, rolling it out like you can see me do. I'm just rolling it in, and then that center point, I'm going to place it on the center point of the short sleeve, and then I will align the rest of the sleeve, the notch part of the main fabric, with the lining, and then I'm going to pin it all around. This style is not rocket science. You need a lot of pin to hold your design in place before moving to the next step. So that is what you see me do right now. I'm trying to hold everything in place, and I'm going to be pinning it as I do. Jesus is the sweetest name I know. He's always just the same. I praise his holy name. That is the reason why I love him so. Oh, Jesus is the sweetest name I know. I'm just aligning it. Oops, they took off the light, so I'm using natural light here. I've gone ahead to pin everything all around, and then I stitched down the center point first with my needle and thread before going ahead to tack the sides and all the folded parts in place. And then after tacking it, I'll take off the pin. This style needs time. You need to give it time. Take your time, tack everything. You don't need to rush. Now I'm done tacking, and see, it is already standing firm in place. Now I'm going to stitch that upper part together so everything can align, and then I'll join the sides. Guys, this is the finished look and it's looking really gorgeous. Wow, don't forget to try this out and share it with me on my IG at Winnie's Fashion Parlor. Thanks for watching. I love you and I care about you. Bye.